So I was sitting at a high school football game as a 7th grader, and somebody came up to me and said, Mike Hargrove wants you to sit by him. And I said, I'm not real sure who that is. And I was shocked because I thought I knew everybody in school. And they said, well, he's sitting up there by Don Williams. And I said, dang, I wish it was Don Williams. He's so darn cute. But I looked up and saw Mike and went, well, he'll do. And we went steady all through junior high, high school, went to college together, got our teaching degrees so we could have our summers off together. How'd that work out?
In 1968, Mike Hargrove accepted a basketball scholarship to a small school just a few hours from his home in Perryton, Texas. It was there that he began his seemingly preordained path to Major League Baseball.
And when the basketball season was over, the baseball coach of that small school came up and said, Mike, you'll come out for baseball? And he said, I don't play baseball. Our high school didn't have a baseball team. And he said, well, you're an athlete, and we need warm bodies, come try out.
Following a 3-sport standout collegiate career, Mike was drafted in the 25th round by the Texas Rangers.
We didn't even know what Major League Baseball was when he got drafted. We stopped in St. Louis to go to a game. It was our first big league game, and he'd already been drafted into baseball.
After 2 years in the minors, Mike was called up to the big leagues. He was named the American League Rookie of the Year in 1974 and an All-Star in '75. After 5 seasons with the Rangers, Mike was traded to San Diego.
And then Mike called me on the trading deadline, June 14th, 1979. He said, Sharon, guess what? And I said, what? And he said, we just got traded again. And I said, where are we going? He said, Cleveland. And I can't say what I said because what I knew of Cleveland was the river had caught on fire and 10-cent beer night.
Well, Mike was a natural leader, so he was one of our leaders on our team. There's no doubt about that. Part of that leadership is your performance on the field, and I think that first and foremost, I think that was where Mike gained a great deal of respect.
Another productive performer for the Indians was ever-steady Mike Hargrove. Hargrove collected 160 hits and 101 walks for a .380 on-base percentage, near the top in the major leagues.
The most consistent, disciplined, professional player. He was one that the manager didn't have to worry about. So I would say if there was one word to identify Mike Hargrove, it was certainly consistency.
Nowhere was he more consistent than the batter's box.
Hargrove steps out, bangs the barrel into the bat against the shoes, reaches behind him to the left hip pocket, readjusts the glove, readjusts the donut he wears on his left thumb, flexes the shoulders, touches the helmet, readjusts the glove again, goes to the nose, again a readjustment of the glove, again a readjustment of the donut. And now Hargrove is ready.
After 7 seasons with the Indians and a short stint in free agency, Mike retired in 1986. He spent 2 years managing in the minors before making his major league coaching debut at first base for the Cleveland Indians.
A lot of guys who have had a long career in major leagues would just want to be named the manager. Grover wasn't like that. Grover was one who understood, okay, I'm going to go back, learn my craft, learn the craft of managing in the minor leagues, and then come up, be a part of John McNamara's coaching staff. And if my time comes, wonderful.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
From the turn of the decade in 1990, the Indians organization was undergoing a renaissance. With a young nucleus of players and a wealth of talent, the team was poised for greatness.
You can see that everything was evolving. The young group of players, the organization signing players to multi-year deals, taking risks.
Mike Hargrove was tapped to lead this new-look tribe.
We had a clubhouse, filled with giant personalities.
Pleased to meet you. Hope you guess my name.
That was the transition of Cleveland baseball becoming, being on the map again.
There was no question that we were an incredibly talented baseball team, but it took a guy like Mike Hargrove to make sure that that team stayed focused, disciplined.
And the season of dreams has become a reality.
He managed to get a group of young guys and develop them and being able to make it to World Series. That's pretty impressive to me.
Since '95, Mike had led the Indians to 5 straight divisional titles and 2 World Series appearances. A third appearance fell just out of reach when the Indians lost the division series to Boston in '99.
Postseason of '99, You know, we had just won our 5th straight divisional title. And I'm thinking, wow, this is pretty monumental, that things are going pretty well, and we're going to probably upset the apple cart here a little bit.
He called me about 15 minutes after the meeting was supposed to be, and when I answered the phone, I said, "You've been fired, haven't you?" And he said, "I need you to do me a couple of favors." And I said, "Okay." And he said, "And will you call all the kids and tell them I don't want them to hear it on the radio?" And I said, "Okay." And then he started getting choked up and said, "Can you call my mom and dad?" He said, "It really is hard to tell you." And you know, it still is an emotional thing, because you don't feel like you're a success when you get fired. And I remember seeing on the TV that night, Mike Hargrove, Cleveland Indians, and it had 1979-99. And I thought, well, he didn't die. And I thought, well, it kind of feels like a death, you know, when you're that wrapped up in something. But I then went to the dash between it, and I thought, you know, it's what he gave during that time that he can hold his head high.
Mike went on to manage the Orioles in 2000 and the Mariners in 2005. Most Indians fans remember the infamous opening day of 2007.
We were winning opening day and against the Mariners, and it's snowing, and there's Grover doing his human rain delay kind of thing with the umpires taking forever to get his point across, and stopped us from winning opening day. But he will claim that Paul Byrd ended up walking the bases loaded. That's what, if he would have got 3 quick outs, we would have got the game in and got the win. But we hated him that day, yeah.
After deciding to step away from the Mariners, Mike came home to Cleveland, where he continues to represent the Indians on the field as a senior advisor and off the field as a well-known face in the community.
Mike was always somebody who understood the bigger picture of being an athlete, not just coming to the ballpark and playing, and then I don't have to do anything other than that.
Mike spent a great deal of time here, became involved in our community, became involved with the Indians and many of the things that they were doing on and off the field in terms of helping to expand and grow baseball in our region, and has done quietly, never beating his chest, never, going out of his way trying to promote himself.
I think when Grover gets the opportunity to just get over at first base and help the kids learn how to play that position better, I think that's when he really finds true joy in being back in a uniform.
He's been a very important piece in my life. He's a very, very important piece in the Cleveland Indians organization in the city of Cleveland. And everybody, myself, the city of Cleveland, his family, everybody should be proud of him.
When you look back and see what he's achieved as a player and a manager, and a father, and being involved in our community, and helping others, and all of those things, those are the things that you look back and you're thankful to be able to call him your friend.